Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the 13 Rings podcast. I'm your host, Lucas, with my co-hosts, Mal, Maurice, and Earl. And we are covering week 9 of the NFL season. And this one was a doozy. Look, a lot of interesting things happened this week to the NFC East division, which we're going to be talking about here. And you know what? We're going to start off with a marquee matchup. And I'm going to give it to Earl and Maurice. You guys go ahead, take it away.
Before you do that, you're forgetting something.
You know what? You are absolutely right. And thank you for reminding me because I am feeling a little bit under the weather. Let me grab that real quick. So, as per normal, we usually do our season the week that we just played. We do our review of our previews that we did at the beginning of the season. So, week 9, starting with the Washington Commanders, we all predicted wins, and that is exactly what happened against the Patriots. Week 9, this is spicy. So we all predict. So for the Giants, I predicted a loss, and the rest of y'all predicted a win. And
wow,
I feel vindicated today. So week 9 for the Eagles and the Cowboys. So I had the Eagles and me and Mal had the Eagles winning, and Earl and Maurice had the Eagles losing. How about that? So, that being said, now it is time for you guys to go take it away.
All right, I'll start first. Eagles beat the Dallas Cowboys 28-23. Sunday evening. I actually had the Eagles splitting with the Cowboys this season. I thought they would win in Dallas because it seemed like the Eagles always split with the Cowboys. But the Eagles won this game at home, and it was a roller coaster ride. It was like a movie almost. It had a lot of suspense. I'll say that. But Eagles did what they had to do. The Eagles did what they had to do to win this game, and it came down to the last couple plays where it seemed like the Eagles was on the verge of a collapse, but we pulled through. But I will say this before I get into the stats. I will say this: the Cowboys take a lot of heat from the media for not showing up in big games. But this was a big game for them. This was a bigger game for the Cowboys than it was for the Eagles, like Earl said last week. The Cowboys showed up. The Cowboys definitely showed up. I think the Eagles overall is the better team right now, but you can easily tell me that the Dallas Cowboys should have won that game just because of, the undisciplined plays towards the end of the game for the Eagles and injuries, specifically in our secondary. It seemed like guys were dropping down and getting hurt every play towards the end of that game. It was crazy.
So, but Maurice, what went wrong for the Eagles then?
Well, our secondary is Swiss cheese right now. Darius Slay is still a good cornerback. He's not the same Darius Slay from years ago. I'll say that. He's outside of his prime. If you are a number one cornerback, you need to play. Well, not play, but you need to defend the best receiver no matter where he's at on the field. And they put CD in a lot of slot, and for whatever reason, our defensive coordinator Sean Desai didn't match that. Maybe Darius Slay just is not comfortable playing slot corner or just playing the middle. He plays mostly outside, and that hurt us. And that was definitely a part of their game plan. James Bradbury is just he's close to washed at this point. And we don't really have a real slot corner. Avonte Maddox is out for the season, and the guy we brought in, Bradley Roby, is out as well. So right now, our secondary is going to be our problem going forward. But real quick, let me get to the stats because the stats tell a tale for one team more so than the other. But Jalen Hurts he threw 17 for 23 for 207 yards, 2 touchdowns. okay game. Rushing wise, we didn't really do much. 33 carries for 109 yards, but Gainwell and Hurts had a touchdown. AJ Brown didn't really do much. I mean, he had seven catches, 66 yards, touchdown. Devontae had a great catch, but he only had 51 yards for one touchdown. So overall, this was a game of this was a divisional game. It was a divisional battle. Um, I really can't say much anything about anything else. So I'm sending over to Earl.
Hey, great analysis, Maurice. Really appreciate it. The game was it was definitely a classic for us for our teams going head to head. The situation I have with this game is that Dallas lost this game of a game of inches, in which I'm gonna challenge that and say we lost by a mile of football politics. The situation I have with Dallas is that I wasn't mad about the matchup. I thought it was going to be a big game, and I knew that Dak Prescott was going to ball out. I knew his team was going to be prepared and ready. What went wrong for them was that in the third quarter, the penalties hit them, and I consider them self-inflicted wounds. And with that, it led to Philadelphia getting 14 points in the third quarter. Y'all basically owned us in the third quarter. When by the time we could figure out things going into the fourth quarter, it was too late. 28-23 was the final. But I do want to talk about what I am mad about. I'm mad about what the front office has been doing with these football politics. They decided to bring in Rashawn Evans in the linebacker spot to fill the void with LBE being out. Have not seen this man. Only time I've seen him was on a special teams play, which led to a face mask. They sent the Eagles to the 40-yard line after halftime. The next thing, I'm really just having a hard time just trying to figure out why Dallas is not playing Izzy McQuamu, Wanye Thomas in these games, these big games, because I feel like they earned to be on the field. And I really think the front office has been meddling in what Dan Quinn wanted to do on the defensive side, in which having him play their hurt guys, in which they paid money for. I think Donovan Wilson really, he's got to, I would rather him sit on the bench until he's fully healthy. I would rather bench Jordan Lewis in the slot because the Eagles have really very talented, athletic receivers, and him in the slot was getting cooked. Now, I know that AJ Brown didn't get a good game, but he had a decent amount of game in which getting 66 yards and a touchdown. Vontae Smith, he got a touchdown. I think he had like 40, 50 plus yards. Dallas Goddard was smoking him in the slot too. And Maurice, I'm sorry about his injury. Um, hopefully he makes a full recovery. I think it's like a
Yeah,
4 game exit he has.
yeah,
I just wish him the best on his recovery. The Yeah, it's so much I can go to with just the football politics, but I just hope after this game I can see Dallas just taking the time to realize they lost this game in inches, but also look within themselves that know that they lost by a mile of politics. And I definitely need to see these guys that earn their right in camp to be on the field and not be shunned by politics. What went right about Dallas is Dak Prescott. This is his third game. He's getting into his own. He's getting in the rhythm, and I just enjoyed seeing what he was able to do in this Eagles game. Like he always has like really good games against the Eagles, but this time it just felt more sweeter to him because he he was just moving around. Like seemed like he was having fun. Like he really put the team on his back, and I respect him for that. And he could have he could have gotten the 2 point conversion, foot stepped out of bounds, but this game was just dealing with game of inches, and it just it just self-inflicted wounds to them overall. I'm gonna go through some stats with Dak Prescott. He had 44 passing attempts. He went 29 for 44, 374 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He had a passer rating around 115. Tony Pollard, he had 12 carries and 51 yards, in which I thought running the ball wasn't too bad against the Eagles defense, but I definitely wanted to see more of Tony Pollard being utilized moving to the outside. It seemed like they're continuing to have him run up the middle like Zeke, and that's not his forte playing running back. CeeDee Lamb, he had 11 receptions, 191 yards, led the receivers, and I got a chance to see Jake Ferguson get in his own, in which he had 7 receptions and 91 yards and a touchdown. Turpin got a touchdown. And Jalen Tolbert, second-year receiver, he had 3 receptions for 49 yards and a touchdown. I like where Dak was able to get the receivers involved, but I really need him in those crucial moments to go to CeeDee Lamb as #1 target or Jake Ferguson. And for some reason, I don't know why I didn't see Brandon Cooks getting more tick out there, because I think he really would have been able to have a good game, especially with how the Eagles secondary has been banged up. There would have been some matchups for that. But I think with moving forward, I think the order of receivers that they need to go is CD, Jake Ferguson, Brandon Cooks, Jalen Tolbert, move Gallup to 5 or 6, and see how that plays out. Because when Dak gets the ball to his #1 target, his stats are off the charts. His ratings are off the charts. And overall, it was a good game. I give credit where it's due to the Eagles. They were able to win the game, and they are a team in the NFC right now with the best record. And I give respect where it's due. GG's Maurice.
Yeah. GG's. We got another one coming in a couple of weeks, so
But yeah, for
I think,
sure.
and
And
I think,
December game.
yeah, and I think it's going to be even more competitive if that's possible. But yeah, we talked about a lot of this last week. Like, if Dak throws the ball to CD, good things happens. And I mean, yeah, he had like what, 191 yards.
Yep, 11 receptions. I just needed a little more receptions. He could win for 200 in this game.
If he'd have had 195, you guys would have probably came out on top because he's about 4 yards short. And
If
and then real
sorry, go
quick,
ahead.
Earl, real quick, Lucas, before we move on, because I didn't answer the player of the game. The player of the game for Philadelphia Eagles, if you watch the game, you know it was Tyler Steen, our offensive guard. Because if he didn't recover that fumble, that stupid play design, I don't know where that came from, but if he didn't recover that fumble, the Cowboys would have had the ball within the 20 in the red zone.
It would have been
And
in the 30. Would have been in the
30,
30.
yeah.
Was,
I mean,
yep.
that would have completely changed the game. So he's my player of the game just because he landed on the football.
And my player of the game for the Cowboys is Dak Prescott. But I also want to tie into what Marie said about that play design. There was 3 opportunities in this game where Dallas could have easily got the fumble recovery, and the Eagles recovered all 3. That's how I knew from that this game was going to be harder than I thought it was going to be. Where those type of opportunities, when you see the ball, you got to go get it. And there was a play with Swift when he fumbled the ball the second time. All Micah had to do was go ahead, get the ball. He was looking out for Swift where his legs were because he didn't want to try to break his leg. If I was in Micah's situation, I would have went after the ball. If I saw the ball was loose, I would have went after the ball. I didn't care who it was or so on. From that, Micah, you gotta be. He considers himself a lion, but right now he's Simba, young Simba, and he's still learning.
So I just want to say this. Seems like divisional games have been very good this year for the NFC East. Like they're always it seems like they're always competitive, minus the very first game. Sorry, Mal. Um, and it was a good game. I think either team had a chance to win this, and like Earl said, I think it comes down to a game of numbers. Yeah.
All right. Now,
That being said, Mal, I think
Yeah.
it's your turn to lament.
Into that.
All right. All right. So the Giants lost to the Raiders 30-6.
Wait, what was the score?
30-6.
30-6, Earl.
Ooh.
30-6. Daniel Jones tore his ACL, so it's over for him.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, it really
Great.
does. I feel guys this, and I'm now going to tell the viewers this. After watching him for a quarter, guy, coming back from an injury, I understand had to go through, and he's a tough dude. I'll give him that. The tough dude playing on an ACL tear, trying to like do the most for his team. But I'm not going to focus as much on this game as I will focus on the conversation about the future. So I'm going to get over everything real quick. There was nothing good from the Giants. Everything was bad. Embrace this full tank, and we need to get a quarterback. Lucas, take your flowers.
Do I get my flowers? I get my flowers.
Hold on.
You get your flowers.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
there.
Best news that I got today. Yes, I will take the flowers.
Yeah.
But no, let me just talk
Give him
about
a
this for a second.
dandelion. He doesn't deserve flowers.
What do you mean? I called it. I get the flowers.
I'll
Now,
let Lucas talk on his point. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Lucas.
all right. So you know who the best Giant was today? I mean, in that game, Antonio Pierce. He was the best
You
Giant.
got
on
jokes.
Correct.
on the field.
Correct.
You got jokes, sir.
Correct.
You got jokes.
I agree.
No, like, but in
Wrong.
all
He's not
seriousness,
wrong.
look, you guys are now, like, say, how long is Taylor out? Like, in all seriousness, because he has the rib thing. I'm assuming at least is he out for the season too?
Placed on IR last week, so he still has minimum of 3 weeks left.
I don't look. If I'm the
Yeah.
Giants, I wouldn't even play him. Just let him
No.
get healthy.
Right.
Now you're going with DeVito and Matt Barkley as your backup, which is not
Ooh. Guys, I don't know. You guys know more about him than I do. Who the heck is Matt Barkley?
He played at USC.
Anyone know? Okay, how many years ago?
It's been some years, but his
He's
career
a
in the
journeyman.
NFL has been nine.
Yeah, he's like a
9
third string journeyman, to be honest. He didn't he play for the Eagles for a little bit, Maurice?
Yes, he did. Yes, and he stunk.
But
Yep.
last time I
And he
checked,
had
I
to take
thought
his
he was a
talents to
backup
Madden.
for the Bills, for the Jets. Yeah, no, you guys are in trouble. You guys are in really
Giants are in
trouble.
rough shape.
Look,
And
you
you know
guys are going
what?
to draft a quarterback. I don't think you guys have the fourth worst record right now.
Yeah, fourth
So
worst.
you're not going to get Caleb Williams.
Hold on now.
Well.
Hold
Okay,
on.
hold on.
I don't know.
Hold on.
He's got half a
Hold
season
on.
left, Lucas.
Yes,
Hold.
Bears
hold.
are getting Justin Fields back. It's getting Kyler back.
I don't know, guys.
I don't know if I can save them.
Oh,
Save the Panthers.
let me.
But
Mal,
go ahead,
I got
Earl.
something for you. I know that you're thinking of a quarterback. I don't think that's the issue. Even if you get a quarterback, who on the line gonna protect him?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No, you're right. But I will tell you guys my theory once you guys are done giving me
So let me just say this. You can get offensive line help in the second and third round. I don't think there's an offensive lineman in the top 5 of this projected mock draft so far. So you got to go
just
quarterback.
Joe Alt from Notre Dame, but
okay, so
I'll tell you. But
all right,
My-
but like
My situation with that, Lucas, is that yeah, you can do that, but if you go to get that quarterback, that could shift your mind. I would say address the situation in which getting a line to protect your quarterback. Because you can put anybody back there, but if you don't have the protection to keep him clean, then it's a wasted draft pick for now. But you have to address the line, especially
I
in
think
this
you can
upcoming
do both.
draft.
I think you can do both because let me tell you something. I'm a
You
big
could
West
do
Virginia
both.
fan. I'm a big West Virginia fan. They have one of the best offensive lines in college football, and most of them are either juniors or seniors. So Mal, if I'm you guys, I'm looking at that offensive line and see how many of them that you can get while they're still available.
So you saying go after the lineman at West Virginia?
No.
Yes, I am. That is exactly what I am saying.
So-
No, look, they really are a really good offensive line. And Earl, you've seen them play, so you know what I'm talking about here.
And I've
I've
seen
seen
WVU play
the last
too.
couple games, yeah.
Good line,
So-
but I will tell you guys my theory.
Okay, what's your theory?
So here's my theory. Giants, I think personally, with Tommy DeVito starting, I'll always support him, but it's not going to happen. We have pick 1 or 2, either be Caleb Williams or Drake May. If we don't,
Now, I got a
have-
pick for you.
I'll let you
You
talk.
could-
I'll let you explain, Earl. If we
Okay.
don't have pick 1 or 2,
Mhm.
say pick 4,
Okay.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, and
Okay.
after that, we'll trade up our second round pick to get JJ McCarthy.
I'm assuming he's an offensive lineman.
No, he's
No,
a quarterback from
quarterback.
Michigan.
Quarterback.
Oh, okay.
Because we have to,
You-
Lucas. We have to get a quarterback. Daniel Jones is too injury prone. He's too injury prone. We can't
Yeah.
do it anymore. And and thankfully, Shane, my GM,
Mhm.
structured his deal that after 2 years, we can have an out without too much dead cap.
Yeah, I think that was a smart move there.
Right.
And I think when it comes down to it, he's not going to at least start next. I don't think he'll be able to play at the beginning of next season. And if you
Me
draft
either.
a quarterback, why bring him in at all? Like, just have him be a backup.
Exactly. And let him learn and let him do his thing. So,
True.
but unless it's Caleb or Drake May, if we get that low, guys have a shot.
Okay, Mal, I like what you thought there. I can see that. I could agree with that. But there's one quarterback that I think could actually work with the type of style of receivers y'all have. You could
Like
protect the line. Penix, yes.
I like
'Cause
Penix too.
Because with his zip in with those receivers, I can trust that because
Who does he
he's
play
for?
shown-
Washington.
He plays for the Washington Huskies.
Okay.
This type of straight dart in which he throws is something that the Giants need, especially
Yeah.
with a receiver in Hyatt. Because all you got to do is
Yeah.
have him take the top off. Penix is like, I got you. And then throws a dime. And in that, you could do that. You could go McCarthy in that way. But I think y'all need a very experienced quarterback that can launch the ball. And I think Penix would be a really
Agree.
sleeper pick, a very underrated pick for the Giants, in which they could still go get O-line first. And at some point, make a trade to move up or so and get Penix. Because they're going to have other quarterbacks aligned to Penix, in which if he starts
Yeah.
to drop, you could actually snag him.
You know the thing is,
Absolutely.
Earl, before Mal, you jump back in, I just want to say this. For Washington fans that don't believe in Howell, Penix has been their target. So
I understand that. But
yeah.
I'll talk about Howell when
Lucas,
you
I
talk
think
about
y'all
him.
could go get Bo Nix.
You want us to get Bo Nix?
I think you would probably get Bo Nix.
I don't
You
think
probably
you
could.
need a quarterback.
We don't
Lucas.
need one. Anyway, we'll
Yeah.
But
Mal,
anyway.
go back to your point.
My final thought is it makes me sick to talk about this early, the Giants draft pick, but this is where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of holes, a lot of problems. I want Shane and Dable to find their QB without any influence from my owner. And I want them to develop him into the best version. And if it doesn't work out at that point, then we move on. But change
So it's
because the
basically when
Giants
putting all the chips in.
exactly. The Giants have been in a spot for the past 10 years. Last year was very nice. It was great to root for them through all of everything, the season, the one playoff game, whatever. something needs to change. And that's my final point on that. Lucas, on to the Commanders.
On to the Commanders. Hail to the Commanders, right?
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'll be honest. I had other stuff going on during the actual game, so I had to rewatch it later. That being said, there are some takeaways here. First off, Sam Howell is our guy. He's our guy.
Definitely.
Like, look, he had another 300-yard game passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Mal, I sent you the stats for our stats stuff later, so I'm not going to spoil all the stats stuff. But he's our guy. Not only do I think he's our guy, the franchise believes he's the guy. Like, of course, Ron Rivera is going to say that. He's not going to be here next year, but that's not the point. Not only does Ron Rivera, the players believe that. The players believe it. And if your teammates believe in you as a quarterback, that's a lot louder statement than a coach. Now, we won 20-17. I'm not gonna lie, I was worried for parts of this game because Ron Rivera's not the coach. He's not him. And, just there were points where I thought we might have lost this game. Despite New England being now 2-7, look, I'm not thrilled about where we're at. We're going for another 8-9 record this year based off of our pace right now. I'm glad that we got the win, but at this point, I mean, look, unless Ron Rivera does something miraculous, I'm really worried. Now, the good news is, like I said, Sam Howell. Brian Robertson had an okay game. Terry McLaurin and Jahad Dotson also had good games. What went wrong was our pass rush against Mac Jones, who is infamous for making bad decisions, getting sacked, all that stuff. He only had 1 interception. But the bigger thing is that he had 0 sacks. This was our first game after trading Chase Young and Montrezl Sweat. 0 sacks against the opposing quarterback. That's going to be a problem now. It's going to be a big problem.
They had a sack, but they called back for roughing the passer, which I thought.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that. That was a horrendous call. But my point still stands. And this game could have very easily been lost. I'm glad that we won. But there are a lot more red flags than green flags from this victory, and I'm worried. So, that being said, Sam Howell's our guy, and I feel good about saying that. I think this franchise finally has the first guy. Like, this is the first time since Kirk Cousins. You know how many quarterbacks we've had since Kirk Cousins?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? I will buy something for somebody if you can tell me off the bat right now without looking it up.
Who's your last quarterback since Kirk Cousins?
No, how many quarterbacks have we had since Kirk Cousins? Starting quarterbacks.
Oh, goodness.
I want to say at least 17.
I want to say 4.
No, since Kirk Cousins? Like 15, 16?
None of you guys got it right.
I'm going to say
it's a lot.
4 or 5.
It's 12.
I was closest.
Wow, you were the closest, Maurice. I did not think it was that much.
I think I saw a photo of like somebody with all the quarterback jerseys. It's a lot of them.
Wow.
So now that we finally have a new ownership, finally a franchise quarterback to build around. Now, is Sam Howell going to be one of the greats? I don't know. But can you win with him? Absolutely. Because, like I said, we have a horrendous offensive line. Now, granted, they only gave up 3 sacks in this game, which is better than most of the time. Sam still leads the NFL in sacks, which is not good. But that being said, it's doing better, but he's still doing all this stuff with a bad offensive line. If we can actually invest in our offensive line this offseason, oh my gosh, he'll actually be able to do so many better things. Because he's just doing, hitting his first or second option. He's not really trying to go through all of his progressions because he doesn't usually have that type of protection very often.
But, Lucas, I'll say this. Ups and downs, but that's how it is for a rookie.
I mean,
But-
yeah, let's compare him outside of like you said rookie. He's not technically rookie, but if you did
I know.
other rookies,
I know. That was my bad.
No. But you bring up the other point that I wanted to make tonight is if you compare him to the other rookies, let's just take that Dallas game out of last season, and he's essentially a rookie this year, right? Can we agree there that he's essentially a rookie, or at least like first year player?
Uh-huh.
It's basically
Would he be the favorite for offensive rookie of the year? Or it would be between him and CJ Stroud, I would say, right?
Yeah. He's not
absolutely.
actually qualified, but
yeah, I know he's
I
not
get your
qualified,
point.
but if he was,
Absolutely. Mhm.
I think it's him and CJ Stroud. Shout out to Stroud, by the way, great quarterback.
Wow.
Houston did a great job.
Mhm.
Carolina messed up on that, and I told my students that are Carolina fans about that today.
Yeah, but Lucas, I'll say this.
Carolina.
Lucas. Offensively, the Commanders are not that far away.
No, they're not.
And
We just need a good
like I
offensive
said,
line.
and like I said last week, and it was a clip on our social media. If you want to be a competitive franchise, you have to build through your line on both sides, offense and
the
defense.
trenches.
Yeah, and that goes for the Commanders, and that goes for the Giants as well. I mean, you could bring in a talented quarterback, but how successful can a quarterback be if your offensive line is just going to let them get knocked around all game? So
can we just talk about his durability? This guy's been sacked 40 some odd times. Like I think it's 43 or 44 times. And no injuries, knock on wood. So the durability, this guy gets an A+.
You guys are offensive line and a reliable tight end away from being a really good offense.
Oh no, I trust our tight ends. I'm not even worried about the tight end because I like Logan Thomas. I like our backups, Bates. I'm not worried about the offense. It's just the offensive line, and then defensively, we need a better coordinator and some more secondary pieces. But our up front, I don't think is horrendous.
Well, defense on the D line after the moves you made last week, you might have to reload there as well.
I mean, they're not horrendous. They're not good they're not elite anymore, but I don't think they're horrendous. So
yeah.
That being said,
and Sweat got a new contract, right?
Yes, he did. Kudos to him. He deserved it. So
yeah, with the Bears.
That being said, let's go to Mal and the NFC. Oh, player of the game. Sorry, Sam Howell. Like I don't even know why you even need to say it. Yeah, Sam Howell's the player of the game. Like come on now, come on. So that being said, Mal, give us some NFC East stats of the week.
All right, sounds good. So let's start with the Giants because they're very underwhelming. So the only bright spot of the Giants this year is Dexter Lawrence. He is awesome. He is the highest graded player aged 25 and under in the NFL this season with a 92.3 grade. So that's great. Let's move on to the Commanders. So I don't know if you know this, Lucas, but Sam Howell is responsible for 5 completions with a completion probability under 20% this season, which is the most in the NFL.
I think I heard that. Like, it didn't come to mind, but it sounds familiar. Yeah. I also sent you some other stats, too, if you want to read them off.
And I'm going to do that one next. Howell is second in passing yards with 2471 and is tied for 7th with Jalen Hurts with 14 touchdowns.
Passing touchdowns, to be clear.
Yes, that's pretty cool. So let's go to the Cowboys next, which I thought actually this one was pretty cool because the Cowboys have a problem with field goal kickers. Sorry, Earl. It's just the truth. But Brandon Aubrey has 19 field goals, which is the most field goals made without starting NFL career.
Yep.
And now we move on to the Eagles, and this is a really cool stat. So Jalen Hurts caps the Philadelphia Eagles drive with a quarterback sneak touchdown, which is his 33rd career rushing touchdown, which surpassed Randall Cunningham for the most by a quarterback in Eagles history.
Really?
Yeah.
When you have the ability to play the most overpowered play in football right now, which is the tush push brotherly shove, you're going to get a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yeah. So Jalen is doing his thing.
That's
For
pretty
some
much.
reason in my head, I thought that not Randall Cunningham, but Donovan McNabb had the most rushing touchdowns for you guys.
I would
Yeah,
think Michael Vick.
You would think that. Well, Vic didn't play as many years, but
Yeah, Vic only played about, what was it, 3 or 4
two and
years?
a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Like
yeah.
Vic, though. Yeah, he was good for you guys.
Yeah, you would think McNabb, but Randall was something special back in the '90s, man.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
He was. Hey Mal, I got another stat line for the Cowboys. It just popped up. Micah Parsons, he actually has the league leading pass rush win rate of 33.3%. His pressure percentage so far this season is at 38%, which is the first, and pass rush win rate at 58% as the first.
Look at Micah. That's awesome. NFC East doing big things.
NFC East doing big things. All right, Earl, take it away for us.
Alrighty, we have our newly 4-minute drill because 2 minutes was not enough. We're going to start off this 4-minute drill with Lucas. Go ahead with your slate of games.
So we're going to start off here with the Arizona Cardinals playing against the Cleveland Browns. Browns shut them out 27-0. The Cardinals started rookie quarterback Clayton Tune. He was horrendous, guys. He had 20 attempts for 58 yards, only completed 11, 2 interceptions. Deshaun Watson came back. He's still rusty, but he's looking better. Then we go to the next game here that I covered. I covered the Colts versus the Carolina Panthers. Rookie Bryce Young looked like a rookie, despite being the first overall pick. He had 3 interceptions to 1 touchdown, 173 yards. Despite the Colts having their backup Gardner Minshew playing, they ended up winning the game 27-13, like I said. And then finally, we have the Chargers versus the New York Jets, or the New Jersey Jets, as we like to call them on this podcast.
Hey.
And we had the Chargers winning 27-6. Zach Wilson, he threw the ball 49 times and still didn't eclipse 300 yards. Didn't have any interceptions, no touchdowns either. He did end up fumbling the ball 3 times, losing it twice though. So that did not help.
Can't be that one-dimensional and win football games.
Absolutely not.
All right. Maurice, why don't you go with your slate of games?
All right, so the Ravens clobbered the Seahawks 37-3. The Baltimore Ravens rushing attack dominated this one with 41 carries for 298 yards and 3 touchdowns. They averaged 7.3 yards a carry. Now, you're going to win a lot of football games if you can rush for 7 yards a clip. I mean, that's a formula for success in any football game, if you ask me.
And it's a complimentary football too.
It is. I mean, people that don't play football don't realize when you rush that many times, you can beat down the defense.
Facts. Beat them into submission.
Yeah. And the Saints defeated the Bears 24-17. The Bears backup Tyson Bagent fared okay statistically, but he also had 3 picks, which was the difference in the game for the Saints defense. I'll say this. I don't remember a season where this many quarterbacks went out. We have this many bad backups coming.
Yeah, it does seem like a lot of quarterbacks are getting injured. I think I saw a stat where we've had the most starting a rookie starting at quarterback this year ever, or tied for the most ever.
Yeah,
football guys have not been counting this season.
Yeah, even Will Levis didn't have a great second game, but we'll get to that.
I mean, he's going to be starting moving forward, and
yes,
I think that's probably the right call because Tannehill can't cut it. I still feel bad for the kid from Liberty, though.
Malik Willis.
I wanted him to work out, but I guess not.
Yeah, now will tell us what happened in the Titans game. Go ahead, Mal.
Yeah, so I had the Chiefs and the Dolphins, which were in Frankfurt, Germany, which is very cool. Chiefs won 21-14. Tua had a really rough game. Pat Mahomes showed out as usual. He was 20 for 30 with 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then I had the Rams and the Packers absolutely demolished the Rams 20-3. But the Rams did not have Matthew Stafford. They had Brett Rypien. Jordan Love was 20 for 26, 228 yards, 1 touchdown. And then I had the Titans Steelers, which was a really good game on Thursday Night Football. Steelers wound up pulling it out 20-16. Will Levis had a pretty good game. He threw for 22 for 39, 262 yards and 1 touchdown. 1 interception, sorry. And then Kenny Pickett was 19 for 30, 160 yards, 1 touchdown.
All right.
I'll say this before Earl goes. I'll say this. Now give credit to Lucas again. I think last week he said, or the Miami asked the question, was the Miami Dolphins frauds?
They haven't won a game against a team that is over 500.
Yeah, how about that?
Hey, after they hit that 70-point range, they peaked.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you always have one pretender each season, and it looks like Miami might be that team.
Great offense, no defense.
Mm-hmm. Need to be able to stop some people.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Earl.
You definitely ain't lying about that one, Lucas. Alrighty. The first game I had was the Buccaneers and Texans game. That game was actually pretty entertaining. CJ Stroud for the Texans, he threw for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns in a victory, 39-37.
He already going to be rookie of the year. He might. Can he be a top 10 quarterback, guys?
Wait, his quarterbacks are dropping off? Yeah.
Yeah, he's showing what he can do. And it's his first year too. So I'll give him credit where it's due. The next game I had was the Vikings and Falcons, in which Kirk Cousins did not play in this game, but they had a rookie quarterback start in this game, but didn't finish the game. Then their newly traded quarterback, Josh Dobbs, came in and led the Vikings to victory. Got tongue tied, sorry. Led the Vikings to victory, 31-28.
Shout out to Josh Dobbs, man. He's the most malleable quarterback in the NFL.
He's built different.
You know, Mal, I'm just saying this. You guys could have traded for him.
Yeah, but we didn't know because Daniel Jones tore his ACL the week after the freaking trade deadline.
All right, I have one more game. It was the Sunday night game between the Bills and Bengals. I know that last season we were hoping to see that game, but a tragic injury happened with DeMar Hamlin. But it was really cool to be able to see Hamlin back in Cincinnati after all the doctors have helped him just pretty much save his life. So it was definitely an emotional feeling being able to see him back in that stadium. And it was just the game as a whole. It just Bengals pretty much took over in that game and they won 24-18. Josh Allen really didn't have a good game. The Bengals defense was stout in this game.
Yeah.
Fun fact about that.
Bengals are on a roll now. They're
DeMar Hamlin named a scholarship after that Cincinnati medical team. So that's really cool.
Wow, that is cool.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
All right, Maurice, it is time for fantasy football.
Yeah. I mean,
can we not?
Well, I'm in the same boat, Mal.
Yeah. Mal and Lucas was on the L train this week in fantasy, and me and Earl were the winners. So Earl got a W. He still got a W.
We were in Dove City this week.
Yeah. So week 9 of our fantasy league. Actually, me and Lucas matched up this week, and
man, I messed up.
I did mess up, sir.
Yeah, let us know.
So, if I would have started Austin Eckler, who had not been showing signs of life since returning from injury, and if I would have started Taysom Hill, I would have won.
That's 2 Fs.
Yeah. Granted, the quarterback with the highest stats for your team did not start either. So,
yeah, I had Prescott on the bench, and he had 57 points.
You still had Burrow, who had 48. Howell, for me, only had 33. So,
yeah, but I mean, when were you going to start Taysom Hill?
I mean, he's starting this week because what's his name? Travis Kelce's on a bye, so he's starting this week.
What did you say, Earl?
I was saying, like, even if you started Dak or Joe, like, your team pretty much got the points. Your
Yeah.
two best guys was Dalton Schultz and the Cleveland defense.
Yeah, and this was a rough week for me because a lot of my guys was on bye.
Yeah. I had about
Debo,
3 guys on bye.
yeah, Debo was hurt, but Montgomery didn't play. He was on bye. Etienne was on bye. McCaffrey was on bye. Well, at least my running backs. So I get them all back this week. But yeah, this was a pretty good week for me. I can't really complain.
Yeah, I bet you can't.
No mishaps on my part. So yeah.
All right.
So, Earl, tell us about your matchup with Wes.
Alrighty, this matchup, I really was just trying to recover from last week. I was more instinctive in this. I gave Mahomes another shot, but looking at what Stroud did, I really wanted to make a statement. I should have started Stroud. He had 83.5 points on the bench. I'm crying in the inside. Justin Tucker gave me 14 points on field goals. Giannu Smith, tight end for the Falcons, gave me 19. And my boy Jay Ferg, he gave me 18.1. CD Lamb gave me 17.1. Tank Dell went off, gave me 34. Diggs gave me 19. So overall, most of my team hit the double digits, and I was able to secure a victory with 163.4 to 135.6.
Now I'll say this: I don't think we've had anyone in our league score 200 points. Am I correct?
You are correct as of now.
You
Yeah, we
are
got close
correct.
a few times.
Earl could have scored 200 points
I
if he
would
would
have
have
scored
started
started
200
Stroud.
Stroud.
points last week.
If I would
See,
have started Stroud.
CJ Stroud gave him 83 points.
That is crazy. The kid's
I'm-
special.
He's got
I
my
mean,
attention. I'm just gonna say that. He's got my
Look,
attention.
look, I gotta tell you guys something. So back at New Year's Eve, me and Earl were watching college football playoff. We were watching CJ Stroud. And I was telling Earl, and Earl was agreeing with me that this kid is going to be the best quarterback coming into the NFL next year.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
thought
know
he
why
was
everybody loved Bryce Young, but they
because he
do.
was at Bama.
It's that Bama.
Yeah, Bama.
Bama.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Ohio State quarterbacks have not done great in the NFL.
Yeah.
Who was the last good Ohio State quarterback?
Not Dwayne Haskins.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
can't
say
remember.
Smith. Troy Smith, maybe.
No, he was a backup. Terrell Pryor never really worked out. What about that guy that backed up in Buffalo for a few years? He was built like a tank.
Know who you talking about, but the
Caldell
name.
Jones, is that his name?
Are you talking about EJ Manuel?
No. He wasn't. He was Florida State.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I
Gosh.
think Cardell Jones, like he could have been promised, but the time when he won the national championship with Ohio State, they had Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke out of the chip.
Yeah, he never really got a fair chance in the NFL. I think he's like a commentator for CBS now.
Anyway, yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Real quick, John beat Kyle. Kyle's really falling
Maurice,
off.
you just skip over Mal completely.
No. I'm gonna end with Mal.
Okay.
I don't even want to talk about it, so it's fine.
You got to. It's
You
part of the
don't talk about
podcast.
Yeah, I don't
It was
know
close
what's
matchup.
going on with Kyle, but I think he's on a losing streak.
Kyle fell off.
He sure
I
did.
started it.
Yeah,
He's
I
mad
started-
about it. He's mad about it.
I bet he is.
I started it. I got him on
Earl,
that.
you did
I got him on
start
that
it.
train.
He started to get the ball rolling.
You started. All right. I'll talk
Kicking down
about
the
my
back.
huge L real quick.
It wasn't a huge L.
So, I mean, it was ugly. So, problem is that Tyreek Hill. So, want to hear something funny? If I would have started Odell Beckham Jr., he got 3 times the points that Tyreek Hill did.
Well, first of
Who
all,
has been my
gave you-
fantasy goat.
Pickens gave you
Yeah.
-1.
Yeah, Pickens is.
I didn't even know it was possible.
You know,
I've seen
I
these movies.
don't understand. I
It
don't
is
understand.
It is possible.
Lamar and Tua had the same really amount of points. I had Calvin Ridley, Evan Ingram, I didn't do anything. Brees Hall didn't do anything for me. So yeah, I didn't really have much production.
Matchups.
I don't even have anyone on my roster who really did anything. So
these are the.
This is just not Mal's season this year, huh?
No, yeah, I'm really
going not just in fantasy, just football in general. I mean, outside of beating my team, which
I'm going through it.
Everybody does.
I wish we didn't beat the team.
Now.
Now, are you
better have this victory, sir?
Now, are you at the point now you just fully embracing the tank?
Maurice, win another game. And I never thought I never would have ever said that in my life.
Wait, can you repeat that?
I don't ever want to win another game this season.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. I don't want to.
Trust the process, Mal.
What process, Lucas?
Don't you dare.
Process is I need a top
Don't
5
you dare.
Bud.
You talk about trust the process, and look where your team ended up, sir.
You talking about the Philadelphia 76ers for basketball? Because they're doing pretty good right now.
Exactly what I'm talking now, but how long did it take?
I want to win the right way.
Took a while. But it's a process, Earl.
But now you want to you embracing the tank, but you want to win the right way.
Happen this season. There is no right way this season. I have an undrafted rookie who doesn't know the playbook, who's playing as my quarterback starting. I'll always root for the Giants. I love them. But honestly, we can't. We need to change something. We have to. There's nothing. I don't know what else to do.
All optimism has left Giants. The Giants football community.
Mal, would you say that the Giants community as a general has your same sentiment, or is this just your?
No, I'd agree. Even the most positive people I've met need change.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we all need change.
All right. So before we wrap things up, before I let Mal wrap things up, I do want to mention one thing. We did not make a segment for our social media posts. We did do a social media poll asking you guys, which we do have new graphics coming out for our win-loss stuff on social media for when our teams win or lose. They will be out. And just to let you guys know that the winners for Twitter, well, actually, let me start with Facebook because I know that one's easy. The winner for the Facebook one is the Commanders. Shout out Commanders fans for actually coming out. I don't know what that says if we have most of our social media thing on Facebook. I guess that means we just have old fans because my students tell me that I'm old all the time. So
is Facebook for old people then?
That's what my students tell me. I don't know, man. Look,
they might be right.
They might be right. Look, I got a Facebook. I'm an old guy. I'll admit it. For X or Twitter, let me just pull that up real quick. We did put it. I think last time I saw it, the Giants fans were winning, but let me just double check that to make sure. And our winner is for that, of course, the Giants at 57%. Come on, guys, we got to get more follow. We need more than just Giants fans on Twitter, guys.
What was it? What was the second vote?
Eagles.
Yeah,
it was the Eagles.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna so on Twitter we're gonna have our Giants sneak peek, and on Facebook we're gonna have our Commander sneak peek. So if you want to check those out, do that now. I'm gonna give it to Mal. Mal, take it away for our outro. Oh, week 9 previews and then outro.
Absolutely. So we have the Seahawks versus Commanders, which is going to be a tough one, but I look forward to it.
I'm excited.
We have the Giants versus the Eagles. No, Giants versus the Cowboys.
Yes.
Week. And Earl,
take
it away. Just saying that. Eagles are on a bye.
All I'm gonna say, front office, Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, stop meddling in what the coaches do and let them do their thing.
All I'm saying is if Tommy DeVito beats you, I'm going to be so insufferable.
If the Cowboys don't win by 3 touchdowns, you're going to hear it from all 3 of us, Earl.
Yeah.
I think if the Giants win, Mal is going to tear up the streets. I will not hear the
I
end of
will tear up the streets.
If the Giants
tear up the
win
streets.
for the first time in Mal's life, she's going to be pissed the Giants won.
It's facts. Though.
Not for real. Not for real. This
Look,
is
I'm
like the
serious.
one time.
Look, I just want Dallas to have a full, complete, complimentary game. I don't know. It was just after that Arizona loss, I feel like it's coming back to haunt the team because that could have been a game Dallas would have won to be more in a better position through the get into the postseason. But these next 4 games before we go into our tough gauntlet, they're must wins. Get you got to get those dubs to at least catch up when Philly get off the bye week and at least make it more interesting. I just need them to play a full season where I can see all their talents in full display. I feel like the front office is hindering that by the meddling, and I just want them to play the game that I know they can play and not the game like the Arizona game.
No, absolutely. And I will say this. Go ahead,
Never
Maurice. Finish off.
underestimate your opponent.
Micah Parsons will have 3 sacks. I'm predicting that.
I'll agree on that. I'll say this much. Matchups next week for the NFC East are great. We love a good Cowboys-Giants matchup. I think it's going to be ugly, but
Hey, I need you guys to unleash Jalen Hyatt. I need to see what the kid can do.
I mean, I would love to, but I don't got a quarterback that can really throw. So I think next week will be fun to watch with no expectations. I think watching the new offensive line, the 9th combination for the Giants versus the Cowboys defensive line is going to be very interesting. So that'll be fun. Lucas, good luck against the Seahawks next week. They're a pretty tough team, but I'll leave you all with this.
Where are they playing that game at?
I think
Seattle
it's
or
in Washington. I think it's in Washington.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I do want to say this. I'm going to enjoy the game from both sides because Geno Smith's still the starting quarterback there, and I love me some West Virginia alumni in the NFL, so I'm going to enjoy the game regardless.
You know what?
Absolutely.
I got a statement from you, Lucas. You a low key Seahawks fan.
I would never say that.
I love it. Thank you guys all for watching. Please follow us on Threads, Instagram, and Twitter at 13_rings podcast, and follow us on Facebook and Spotify, and make sure you subscribe at 13 Rings Podcast. Everyone have a good night.